3 days after we tore up that ridiculous $100 fine, sirens lit up our cul-de-sac. Karen Whitmore stood on our porch, clutching her clipboard like it was the Constitution, dialing 911 and telling dispatch that we were hostile, dangerous, threatening her. My stomach sank. Neighbors crowded their lawns, phones up, waiting to watch us get dragged away. But Karen didn't know who she was dealing with. She didn't know my wife outranked the cops she was summoning. When we bought the house in Maplewood Heights, I thought it was our fresh start. Big yard, quiet street, manicured hedges. The kind of place realtors slap on brochures with slogans like, "Picture perfect living." Amy said it felt like breathing again. But the breathing stopped the minute Karen Whitmore introduced herself. She was in her 50s, hair cropped in that stiff bob, a fake smile so wide it felt rehearsed, and a voice sharp enough to cut glass. "Mailbox off-white," she announced. "Regulation states bone white. $100 fine, 72 hours. I actually laughed. Thought it was a prank. Amy didn't. She ripped that violation notice in half and let the pieces flutter into her flower bed. The look on Karen's face, red as a fire hydrant, still burns in my memory. "You'll regret this," she hissed. Neighbors peeked from blinds. Amy crossed her arms, calm as ever. Maybe. But not today. I should have known then that this wasn't about mailbox paint. That fine was bait, and we'd taken it. 2 nights later, Amy found the truth about our cheap house. The Andersons, the family before us, had a daughter who almost died. The ambulance never made it because someone's van blocked the driveway. And when I asked who filed a dozen violations after they tried to build a wheelchair ramp, Amy whispered the name. I already dreaded Karen Whitmore. My beer bottle cracked against the porch railing that night. This wasn't a neighbor with too much free time. This was a woman who thrived on control. Then came the binder. 300 pages of HOA guidelines. Karen dropped it on our porch like she was serving a lawsuit. I swear the wood groaned under the weight. Amy flipped through, laughing at first garden hoses, coiled counterclockwise cars parked facing east, holiday decor measured in feet. But her laughter turned cold. She started highlighting, taking notes. "This isn't studying," she said. "It's evidence." That word evidence made my chest tighten. My wife wasn't just mad. She was preparing for war. Karen didn't come alone next time. She strutted across our lawn with Councilman Brooks at her side, a politician's smile plastered on his face. They rattled off violations like a grocery list soda can on the porch car parked an inch too kind, Amy's flower pots too close to the sidewalk. $2,000 beautification fee, Karen declared as if she were a queen decreeing taxes. My jaw locked. Beautification. She meant that stupid fountain project no one wanted. Amy leaned in, voice sharp as a scalpel. "So this is how it works? HOA fines. City Hall, silence. Money disappears." I saw Brooks tug at his tie, but Karen doubled down. That was the first time Amy pulled out her phone, recording the whole exchange. Calm, calculated. She was setting a trap. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't ready to give up. Nights on the porch, staring at the realtor's old for sale sign, wondering if we should cut our losses like the Andersons. Maybe we were crazy to think we could take on a woman with City Hall in her back pocket. Amy saw the doubt on my face. "If we walk away," she told me, "we're just another red X on her map." And then Helen. Sweet old Helen from across the street showed up with a casserole and the truth. She'd been fined for planting roses over her husband's ashes, forced to dig them up in tears. Her voice shook when she told us Karen doesn't stop. She erases people. That was the night my doubt turned into resolve. If Karen wanted a war, we'd give her one. The showdown came faster than I expected. Karen pounded on our door, shouting that we were criminals for refusing fines, then dialed 911 right there on the porch. The whole cul-de-sac poured out, phones rolling. The cruiser pulled up, lights flashing, officer hand on his holster. Karen pointed at us like she'd just caught fugitives. "That's them. They're dangerous." I felt my pulse slam against my throat. This was it. But Amy. God, Amy! She didn't flinch. She reached into her bag, flipped open a wallet, and the badge gleamed in the morning sun. Chief Amy Miller, Federal Liaison. Everything this woman just told dispatch is a lie. Silence. The cop stiffened, snapped to respect. Karen's jaw hit the sidewalk. The crowd gasped. For the first time, fear flickered in her eyes. You'd think that would have been enough to stop her. But tyrants don't quit when they lose. They double down. Karen launched a smear campaign, websites, flyers, even a live stream rant accusing Amy of blood on her hands. Neighbors whispered. Parents tugged their kids away when Amy walked by. It hurt, I won't lie. But Amy was ready. She built her own site, maplewoodtruth.org, filled with receipts, money trails, forged fines, even Brooks on tape promising to kill complaints at City Hall. The tide shifted. Slowly then, all at once. Neighbors who'd once stayed silent started whispering back then, shouting. Karen called a mandatory HOA meeting to crush us once and for all. The community center buzzed like a hive, folding chairs creaking under the weight of suspicion. She sat at the front, Brooks at her side, binder spread open like a holy book. Her voice boomed. We must protect Maplewood Heights from corruption. Her eyes speared us in the back row. That's when Amy stood calm as stone. She walked forward, folder in hand, not thick like Karen's, but sharp. Exhibit A, a bank transferred $25,000 to a shell company. Gasps. Exhibit B, a recording of Karen's voice threatening liens. Shouts. Exhibit C, violation slips against the Andersons for building a wheelchair ramp after their daughter's near death. The room erupted. People stood yelling, pointing. Helen's voice cracked as she accused Karen of destroying family after family. Brooks fumbled excuses, but no one listened. Karen's hands shook so bad her binder spilled papers across the floor. For the first time, she looked naked, exposed. Her unraveling didn't stop there. Drunk on rage, Karen went live at midnight raving about Amy waving files she bragged about buying illegally. And then she said it spat out the words that sealed her fate. She had been writing a citation the day the ambulance was blocked. 30,000 people watched as she admitted it. The next moment, Officer Thompson walked into her frame cuffs, gleaming. Karen Garcia, you're under arrest for wire fraud, data theft, and obstruction of justice. Her screams echoed into the live stream as neighbors poured popcorn emojis into the comments. By morning, the FBI swarmed our street. Black SUVs, agents hauling out boxes, servers, even safes. The news ran split screens, Karen in cuffs. Brooks dragged out of City Hall, real estate offices raided downtown. Amy stood at a podium, dress uniform crisp, unveiling a web of corruption spanning 6 HOAs. Millions stolen, families destroyed. Karen had been one queen in a hive of rot, and now the hive was burning. I stood in the back of that press conference watching my wife dismantle a machine bigger than any of us realized, and I thought back to the day Karen dropped that first fine on our mailbox. $100. That's all it took to light the fuse. Now, Karen sat shackled, pale, stripped of power, her empire reduced to evidence in cardboard boxes. That's where the story ends. Not with parties or champagne, but with Karen's scream echoing through the courthouse as the judge slammed down the gavel, 25 years, no parole for 15. The queen of Maplewood Heights dethroned at last. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: sometimes the smallest battles, a mailbox, a fine, a clipboard, are the ones that decide whether you live free or live under fear.